studios of Extreme Sports in Hastings, Nebraska. We present Huddle Up, a great way to start your day with all the news, weather, and sports you need, interesting interviews, and friendly conversation from two guys that go together like Scooby and Shaggy. Mike Will and Tyson Havronic.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Huddle Up here on Extreme Sports. Welcome to a Thursday, the 9th day of July for 2026. Off we go. Mike Will, Tyson Havronic standing by. We've got all of your news, weather, and sports that you need to get out the door here this morning. Looks like Nebraska head softball coach Rhonda Ravel is going to be around for a while. Ravel signs a contract extension yesterday that takes her through the 2031 season. She just completed her 34th season as a head coach for the Huskers, guiding Nebraska to a 52-8 record this year and as part of the Women's College World Series. So we'll talk about that coming up. Former Nebraska All-American Max Anderson has been added by Major League Baseball to the 2026 All-Star Futures Game. They'll be played next week at Philadelphia's Citizens Bank Park. Hastings Sodbusters in action again tonight. Guess who? The Grand Island Fighting Cranes will be in town to take on Hastings out of Duncan. First pitch will be at 7. Legion Baseball gets an early start for the weekend, as Hastings Johnson Imperial Homes will be playing in the Capital City Clash beginning tonight. Got the quarterfinals of the World Cup starting today, and several other tidbits we'll talk about here today as we get you up and get you going. As we welcome in Tyson Havronic from the Western Studios. Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Thursday. Not a whole lot to address on the plate. World Cup last night, so pretty light sports night. Decent light show, though. Watched the storms kind of roll through at about 9:30, 10 o'clock as I was getting off work, so some pretty ominous-looking clouds, but I didn't hear of anything too terribly damning today, but
there was a tornado warning briefly up around the Aurora area last night. So nothing really happened there, but they spotted some frontal activity up around Aurora. And I guess Thayer County to our southeast had a lot of rain down that way. They were talking like 3.5 inches of rain at many locations down in Thayer County. So, again, some of these storms are kind of hard to predict where they're going to break out. We had Tim Jones from Nebraska Weather TV on with us yesterday, kind of talked about the potential for severe weather. And I guess it did pop up in some locations of our area last night, Aurora and, again, Thayer County, but really nothing too significant to talk about there as far as storm damage is concerned. So,
hey, you wouldn't have thought, though, if you're like you were driving west last night about 10 o'clock and, God, there was just like lightning all over in every cloud, and you would have thought, like, boy, those storms are going to be coming through and creating some havoc. But, yeah, they didn't really amount to much.
Yeah, the wife came up. She follows this weather app, and she's always telling me, yeah, it looks like at about 2 o'clock in the morning we're going to be hit by some pretty nasty weather.
Good, I'll be sleeping.
Yeah, I kind of woke up somewhere around that timeline last night, and I look out, and no, there's nothing going. We didn't even have a drop of rain. So, anyway, that's how we got through our night here. You mentioned the World Cup, no action last night. The quarterfinals of the World Cup will get underway today. The schedule is going to have France taking on Morocco. That'll be a game at 3 this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's Spain against Belgium. And then on Saturday, you get a double dip. You got Norway playing England, and Argentina will take on Switzerland. So that's the quarterfinals of the World Cup. Belgium, of course, the team that knocked the United States out of the Cup earlier this week. The favorites, I think we talked about this yesterday, France. France looks to be the favorite, so they're going to be in action today against Morocco. I think yesterday you also mentioned maybe England as a possible favorite of the teams that we have left, and they'll be in action.
France, England, Argentina, yes.
Well, England and Argentina are going to play each other.
Right.
No, Argentina is going to take on Switzerland, and Norway will play England. Those will be your games on Saturday. So those are the top teams left in the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
So are you okay? France, England, and Argentina.
Doesn't matter if I'm okay about it. It is what it is. But yeah, I mean, again, and I feel like I'm just beating a dead horse at this point. Like the amount of talent in this World Cup that's left. We have major primetime matchups. You have Harry Kane versus Eric Holland coming up this weekend. You have Kylian Mbappe with France. You have Lionel Messi with Argentina. This is literally like the who's who. This is the greatest generation of soccer players. These are like future Hall of Famers. This would be equivalent to a final round at Augusta with Jack Nicklaus, Arnold Palmer, Sebi Ballesteros, Jordan Spieth in his heyday, Scotty Scheffler, but everybody and their dog is saying, well, I'm not watching because Tiger Woods ain't playing. That's what it's equivalent to. You have the game's legends, the greatest players that we will ever see, once-in-a-generational athletes that are all colliding in the quarterfinals for an opportunity to win a cup that you can only win every 4 years. And you have most of the United States saying, well, I don't give a shit because the United States isn't playing. Fox is doing their damnedest. They're trying, but it's really hard to capture the American pulse when they don't have a rooting interest. If you've been watching on social media, you could get a rooting interest with Norway and their fan base and the row that they do. It's like the hair stands up on the back of your neck when the entire stadium sounds more like a Viking ship coming up on a raid in Sweden. It's pretty fun stuff. You have the world's greatest in Lionel Messi. He scored the most goals in World Cup history. At 42, still actively kicking everyone's ass and showing young kids how to play. The guy can straight up ball, and so there's reason to watch. You might have a rooting interest with some of the amazing, great players that you see on Premier League mornings that are all playing for Team England, and the longevity that it's been since England has had a team that has advanced to the semifinals in the World Cup stage. So a lot of reasons to watch this weekend. Even if the U.S. isn't playing, there is great storylines all over the map, great players, and an amazing soccer to be watched.
Yeah, I'm kind of maybe with the rest of the so-called United States, with the United States being out, there's going to be only the hardcore soccer fans remaining to watch those games, and that's going to be kind of sad because, like you mentioned, there's some great players still left, but that's just the way things go. United States is out. Whoop, we don't care. We don't care anymore. So, yeah, there's going to be the hardcore soccer fans left to watch the quarterfinals of the World Cup. That's I guess what you get. 7:09. Yep, that's the way life is. 7:09, waking up with Mike and Tyson this morning. It's a huddle up on Extreme Sports. Again, if you'd like to chime in with us anytime today, Hamilton Telecommunications fan line 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. Plenty of time to talk to you today. If you'd like to leave us a message on our social media sites, we're monitoring those comments as well. I guess the headline out of the state of Nebraska in the past 24 hours, Rhonda Revelle signing a contract extension that's going to take her through the 2031 season. That's 5 more years. She's been the head coach for the Huskers for 34 years. She signs on for another 5 years to stay as the head coach of the Huskers.
Ronda Revelle at this point has just earned the right to say when she's going to retire. Like, just keep that contract and don't put an end date on it. If you're Nebraska, I don't care if Ronda Revelle in the next 5 seasons doesn't win a game. Right? Like, she at the helm of Nebraska softball for the longevity that she has been, for what she has built, for the passion that she has brought to the sport, for the hell that she had to go through on that whole stupid administrative investigation that amounted to absolutely nothing. For putting her through that, she's pretty much earned the title of, I'll decide when I'm ready to retire, and you just keep my contract open till then.
Yeah, 5 more years through 2031. Of course, Nebraska coming up with a 52-8 record this year, spotting the Women's College World Series. First time since 2013 that we have done that. That was in her 34th season as a head coach. She's also kind of restructured her coaching staff following the retirement of longtime assistant coach Lori Sipple, who announced her retirement back in June. Diane Miller has now been elevated to associate head coach. Maddie Nocita was promoted to assistant coach. Olivia Farrell and Jordy Fromm will also serve as assistant coaches, while Hannah Kaur and Hannah Karmazin have been added as graduate assistants. Lauren Kamazin will be a graduate manager for the Huskers. So a lot of familiar faces from last year's team, and for the Huskers the past couple of years are now serving coaching roles for the Huskers, beginning with this 2027 season coming up next year. So
couldn't think of a better squad to bring on the staff, yeah.
Yeah, might as well. Yeah, you played for me for the last couple of years, and now join me on the coaching staff as we kind of keep this thing rolling along after Nebraska finishing 52-8 last year. So that's the tops on the local scene, so to speak. Nationally, Justin Verlander. Let's talk about him. He has announced that he's going to retire at the end of the 2026 season. He's won 3 Cy Young Awards, 2 World Series championships, an MVP award. So he's basically done everything. Obviously, heading to the Hall of Fame here when he becomes eligible. But the 43-year-old Verlander will be making his 10th All-Star Game appearance next week after being named a legend pick by Major League Baseball Commissioner Rob Manfred on Wednesday.
Nice.
He's got 266 regular season wins, 3,554 strikeouts in his 21 major league seasons. But Justin Verlander says 2026 will be his last.
Yeah, no, he's had a hell of a career, and you mentioned it. Hall of Famer, probably not first ballot Hall of Famer, but certainly a Hall of Famer when he becomes eligible. Yeah, just one of the greats, and one of those guys that, everybody says like 30 is peak MLB athlete, right? At 30, then you start to, your skills will slowly digress. Oh, well, he's 30, he's washed up. And especially pitchers. Like, you look at pitchers, and Verlander had a couple surgeries. There was a couple seasons where he was on the shelf for a while, but really with a guy that's like 42 years old, the longevity of his career, the way he was able to, train himself and get him ready for his starts, and the routines that he went through. But he was one of those guys that didn't have that, I just have to throw this ball 116 miles an hour and throw his arm off. He was calculated in how he, and I brought it up yesterday with Tim Stroman, pitched. There's the difference between pitching and throwing. And what we're seeing today in baseball is a lot of guys that just grab the rock and throw. in the art of pitching, Verlander had it perfected, and he was able to, keep his arm as healthy as possible for as long as he could. And at some point, the body just tells you it's time to time to go, and time to go for Verlander. I thought, maybe this might be his final season, so wasn't surprised to see that news. But yeah, one of the game's greats on the mound.
He's the oldest player in Major League Baseball right now. He has made just one start this season before landing on the IL back in April with left hip inflammation. He was slated to return on June 21st, but was pushed back after suffering a hamstring strain in a bullpen session leading up to it. He intends to return, though. He's scheduled to throw a bullpen today before their game against the Athletics, but Justin Verlander announcing yesterday that 2026 will be the end of his career. Just pulled up some numbers on him this morning. He's the only player besides Don Newcomb to win the Rookie of the Year, MVP, and Cy Young Award. The only guy to do that. In fact, he's won the Cy Young Award 3 times. His 3,554 career strikeouts, the 8th most in Major League Baseball history. 266 career wins, the most among active players. One of only 6 Major League players in the history with 3 or more career no-hitters. He's won the 2011 MVP after going 24-5 with a 2.40 earned run average. Won 2 World Series titles with the Astros in 2017 and 2022. Ranks first all-time in postseason history in strikeouts with 244 and second in innings pitched at 226 and in wins with 17. So those are just some numbers from Justin Verlander retiring after this season and obviously headed to the Hall of Fame here as soon as he becomes eligible. I'm sure he'll be a first ballot type Hall of Famer there in Major League Baseball.
Not the way that the Baseball Writers of America vote for the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, sometimes they have it. I don't know what their how they do that anymore, because some guys that should be in all of a sudden get put back on second or third ballots later on in their eligibility.
There's just some kind of pedestal, and I still to this day will scratch my head on how, of all people, it was Mariano Rivera that did it, and not some of the other greats of the game that had to wait at least a year before their name got called to Cooperstown. Hell, I don't think Cal Ripken wasn't even a first ballot Hall of Famer. So it is widely debated among baseball people, is this club, this elitist group of Baseball Writers of America that have in their brain this pure status that the Hall of Fame provides you, and you have to be squeaky clean in one of the games. Obviously elite players, and there's the criteria, and nobody knows what those measures are. And it seems like every time that they discuss why somebody wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer, the goalposts get moved a little bit. And he didn't fit that category. It didn't fit that category. You're a lazy writer of baseball who's never even been on the field. What are you talking about? Didn't hit a metric or a certain category that they were looking for. So, Bob Costas, in how eloquent he speaks, especially when he speaks of baseball, was talking about Albert Pujols, and when Albert Pujols for the St. Louis Cardinals become eligible, and he was going over all of his career stats, just like you did, and Verlander's got some great ones. Nobody's arguing the fact that Justin Verlander and Albert Pujols are going to be going into the Hall of Fame. Why not just put them into the Hall of Fame when they become eligible? I don't understand this voting process, and you have time remaining and time served, and if you're on the ballot for so long and then you become ineligible for the Hall of Fame because you didn't get picked, are good, then put them in the Hall of Fame. But that's one of those unwritten things for baseball that baseball people will, for some reason, religiously stick to, and yet nobody it's like daylight savings time, right?
Oh, here we go.
Here we go, right? Nobody understands it. Nobody understands why we have it. Nobody likes it, and yet we continue to do it.
No, I like daylight savings time. I just don't like switching back and forth all the time.
Right, exactly.
That's the time that I wish that we stayed on.
Sure.
But is there speaking of that, isn't there talk about that again?
Jesus, no.
Yeah, I think there's talk about that nationally with President Trump.
There's a lot of talk nationally about a lot of things.
He wants to just keep it on daylight saving time.
Tipped employees weren't supposed to be taxed on their tips. Guess what? That didn't happen. So I'm not going to hold my breath for hanging on here for daylight savings time. But that's unrelated. I was making a metaphor to compare I understand. The mindless unwritten rules that we have and why the Baseball Writers of America get a vote in the Hall of Fame. If you're good, put them in. It's as simple as that. And as long as we're on the subject of the Hall of Fame, because I'm just apparently going to piss off a lot of purists of the game today. This is going to anger a lot of people. The Hall of Fame is a museum of baseball, right? Like, that's what it is. It's Cooperstown. It's the game's greats. But at its very core, it is a museum of the history of the game. And as we approach the time where great names and players from an era that baseball is trying their damnedest to sweep under the rug in the late 90s, a lot of those names. You can't tell the history of baseball without talking about that era. I don't care if you put that era in a dark, shadowy corner and call it a haunted house. Steroid era players deserve their time. Because baseball didn't stop it when they had a chance. They didn't say no. They turned a blind eye. That's on baseball. That's not on the players. You can't hold the players out in that particular era. And I know that's going to anger a lot of people, but I don't care. That's my point. And I will head to that hill and plant my flag. Put them all in. Roger Clemens. Put them all in. Put Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, who's in. But
yeah, I agree. You can't tell the story of baseball without those guys.
Yep.
God, look what they did. I don't care what era it was in. It's like telling the story of the United States history and getting rid of some of the facts in United States history. How in the hell are we going to teach our grandkids about the United States and about the history of the United States? It happens with baseball, too. You're not on the island by yourself. This time you're not on the island by yourself. I think I'll join you on the island, and we'll sip our
That's a hot take
and discuss that someday.
That is a hot take, and it's not one that the baseball purists love to hear. And in fact, it angers them when I talk about. I'm like, well, yeah. I mean, that again. Watch the documentary, The Summer of '98, and I think it pretty well describes what was going on. You know, baseball was still facing a crisis from the 1994 strike, and the fan support was at an all-time low. Nobody was watching the game. And then all of a sudden, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa go on this amazing home run race that captivated the nation, that was in every newspaper, that was on every radio sports program. That was the first thing you talked about when you woke up. Good Morning America would start off their show by, well, last night Sammy hit 1, Mark hit 2. We all remember that race. And it brought people back to baseball. And, yeah, we all knew. And don't say, oh, well, we were lied to and everything was a lie because they were on. You knew. Jesus. If you looked at Mark McGwire when he played in Oakland, then all of a sudden he comes to St. Louis, and the dude's baseball jersey is ripping at the seams. We all knew they were on steroids, but nobody wanted to admit it because we were captivated by what was going on. And to that end, that's a part of baseball history. And it deserves to be talked about and discussed. You can even paint a negative light on it. You can say, this is why we don't do this. This is why these rules were made. This is why changes happened and suspensions came about. You can tell that, but you have to tell the history of it by putting these guys in.
I like your idea of putting them in a haunted corner. Yeah, put them in a black haunted corner.
The steroid era.
Yeah, I like that.
Oh, I lost you.
Waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning on Huddle Up. Again, if you have some thoughts on what Tyson just went off on, or have your own personal thoughts on that, give us a call. 402-834-1330. 402-834-1330. Hamilton Telecommunications fan line. Like to leave us a message on our social media sites. You can do that as well. Just checking in. Shane has already chimed in. So Jordy has to wait 5 years to become the head coach. Probably so. Ronda Revelle signs for another 5 years through 2031.
Oh, she'll get a head coach before then.
You don't think
Ronda will get Jordy Ball a head coaching job, or Jordy Fromm, a head coaching job, and then maybe when Ronda's ready to go, then Jordy pulls a Danny Busboom Kelly and leaves a program that she took to the Final Four.
Yeah, we'll pump the brakes here. We'll get her transition from a player to a coach, and see what happens. Maybe she'll be a coach in waiting someday.
Well,
you know how some of those programs have a coach in waiting.
Yeah.
Well, she's got to learn how to be a coach.
I think she'll be okay.
5 years to do it. Anyway, that's just one of the comments that have come in on our social media sites. 7:27, waking up with Mike and Tyson. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
We'll start off first at the state capitol, where Governor Jim Pillen is ordering a 5% budget cut for most state agencies and freezing nearly all new hiring as Nebraska faces a projected $172 million budget shortfall. The move follows lower than expected tax revenues and higher than anticipated state tax refunds. However, the governor took to Facebook and spun it a slightly different way, saying, quote, "Historic tax cuts." Where's mine? Have put money back where it belongs, in the pockets of the hardworking families across Nebraska. Again, where was mine? Those record refunds mean less money for government bureaucracy, and I intend to use that opportunity to shrink government even more. End quote. Meanwhile, in Grand Island, two 23-year-old Grand Island men have been arrested in connection with the brutal assault of 41-year-old Matthew Bishop. According to Grand Island Police, 23-year-old Jesus Reyes and 23-year-old Angel Vega were arrested Tuesday and each charged with first-degree assault and Class 2 felony. Police say surveillance video led to the arrests. It is coming up on 7:29. We'll head back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Well, Sports Today brought to you by Bamboo Mind and Body Spa. From recovery to relaxation, Bamboo Mind and Body Spa keeps Central Nebraska feeling its best. Nebraska head softball coach Ronda Revelle has signed a contract extension that runs through the 2031 season. Revelle is the winningest coach in Nebraska athletics history. She earned the contract extension after leading the Huskers to a 52-8 record this year and a spot in the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2013 and her 34th season as head coach. Revelle has also reworked the coaching staff following the retirement of longtime assistant coach Lori Sipple in June. Diane Miller has been elevated to associate head coach. Maddie Nocita was promoted to assistant coach. Olivia Farrell and Jordy Fromm will also serve as assistant coaches, while Hannah Kaur and Hannah Karmazin have been added as graduate assistants. Lauren Karmazin will be a graduate manager for the Huskers beginning next season. Former Nebraska All-American Max Anderson has been added by Major League Baseball to the 2026 All-Star Futures Game. Anderson joins a group of 25 prospects on the American League roster that will go against 25 prospects on the National League roster on July 12th at Philadelphia's Citizens Bank Park. Anderson was a second-round pick in 2023. He is currently hitting .303 with 13 doubles, a triple, 9 home runs, and 32 RBIs for AAA Toledo in the Detroit Tigers organization. He'll become the 6th former Husker to play in the Futures Game, joining Bryce Matthews, Spencer Schwellenbaugh, Jabba Chamberlain, Alex Gordon, and Jamal Strong. Hastings Sodbusters will play host to the Grand Island Fightin' Cranes tonight out at Duncan Field. Sodbusters are 11-17 in the season. The Fightin' Cranes are 17-11. Sodbusters are 3-9 against the Fightin' Cranes so far this season. First pitch will be at 7. In American Legion baseball action tonight, Hastings Johnson Imperial Homes will play in the Capital City Clash against Gretna, and Ep Foundation Repair Juniors. Hastings 5 Points Bank will play in the Hastings Kearney tournament this weekend. Hastings Runza will play in the Bellevue East tournament. And the quarterfinals of the World Cup gets underway today as France will play Morocco at 3. Tomorrow it's Spain against Belgium. And then on Saturday, Norway will play England and Argentina will take on Switzerland. That's a check in your sports headlines at 7:32 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
We have a few showers and thunderstorms lingering in south central Nebraska, but no severe weather expected this morning. Other than that, plenty of sunshine throughout the area. A little cooler the next few days. We'll have highs in the mid-80s today and as well as Friday and into the weekend, and winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, another chance of a few showers and storms. We'll have an overnight low of 65, 83 Friday, 88 Saturday, 89 Sunday, and 92 on Monday.
As you wake up, get going this morning. We've got north winds at 5. It's cloudy and it's 68 in Hastings at...
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
I'm John Butler, funeral director and owner at Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center in Hastings.
And I'm Nikki Butler, the Advanced Funeral Planning Specialist. Whether you choose a traditional service, cremation, or a unique memorial service, our experienced staff is here to help guide you through every step. Visit us at lbvfh.com to learn more about our services and how we can support you.
Livingston Butler Vollen Funeral Home and Cremation Center. We are here when your need is greatest.
Hamilton has been providing IT solutions for businesses across the state of Nebraska for more than 3 decades. We know that Nebraska businesses are a driving force of support for the communities in which we live and work. We keep them connected and protected by delivering cybersecurity, hosted phones, and managed IT. We are grateful to be part of our Nebraska communities and to support their technology needs.
More information. Get ready for the ultimate trivia experience with Extreme Sports Trivia. Play from anywhere at home, on the go, or at your favorite bar or restaurant. Compete live against players from all over in real time, answering questions across categories like sports, pop culture, Marvel, and more. Want to see how you stack up? Track your progress with live leaderboards and aim for the top spot. It's free, fun, and super easy to play. So what are you waiting for? Sign up today at extremesports.com trivia and start playing now. And keep an eye out. We're coming soon to a bar or restaurant near you. All
right, Mike Wilton, Science Center Bronick with you. It's Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Again, thanks for joining us, whether you're on our website at x-streamsports.com, maybe on your smartphone with our free mobile app, maybe on your smart speaker, Roku TV, Facebook Live, YouTube, Twitch. Thanks for joining us on this Thursday. Again, the Legion baseball teams, really the final weekend of the regular season. The Johnson Imperial Homes Juniors will be playing in the Capital City Clash this weekend. Hastings 5 Points Bank has a Hastings Kearney tournament this weekend. Hastings Runza playing the Bellevue East tournament. We're going to have area tournaments getting underway next week. The juniors, that means Hastings Johnson Imperial Homes, they'll be playing out in Scotts Bluff next week. And then they will host the state tournament the following week. So really the Braves don't have to do much out of the area tournaments. They're already into the state tournament, at least as a host team, but that's what's coming up for the postseason for the Braves. For the Chiefs, we're going to be playing the area tournaments up in Grand Island. So that's what's coming up next week, and have some area tournament action for you on the Extreme Sports next week. So.
It's a long way to go when you've automatically qualified.
Yeah.
It's a hell of a jaunt when you've automatically qualified.
Well, naturally, the coach is going to say, yeah, we don't want to go in as the host team, and we don't want to back into the state tournament. But, yeah, You're right. You're going to go out to Scotts Bluff and play really meaningless games.
Essentially. I don't want to say games are meaningless, but, yeah.
But they are.
But in the grand scheme of things, when you're an automatic qualifier, they kind of are.
So that's coming up next week. Big 12 football media days were held this week. I think yesterday and the day before down in Frisco, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Sanders for Colorado. He was up. I was just checking some of the highlights from Big 12 media days. Deion says he can't wait for the season to get started. Colorado coming off of a 3-9 season a year ago. They lost 7 of their final 8 games. Went 1-8 in league play and finished number 112 in the country in total offense and number 121 in total defense. Things did not go well for the Buffs last year. Get out the crying towels. But Deion Sanders at Big 12 Media Days in Frisco, Texas, says he can't wait for the season to get started. He's kind of retooled his coaching staff. And we'll see what Colorado can do coming up of a 3-9 season. Texas Tech, meanwhile, they are getting ready to play without Brendan Sorsby, who was involved in all that stuff legal-wise, and then he left. He was going to go maybe to the NFL, and now we're not going to have a supplemental draft. Anyway, they're moving on from Brendan Sorsby. They're going to try to get a redshirt sophomore quarterback ready, Will Hammond, to take over at starting quarterback. He is coming off of a ACL injury last October. They hope he is ready to go for their season opener against Abilene Christian. And they hope he's ready to go for football-related activities to start in August. August 21st, I think, is when they report to a camp down there at Texas Tech. But again, he suffered a torn ACL back in October, so Texas Tech is going to go with a redshirt sophomore quarterback this year, and Will Hammond to start the season. So just a couple of news and notes from Big 12 Media Days in Frisco, Texas. Big 10 Media Days will be held later on this month.
You got to start calling it what it is, though. It is now the Monster Energy Big 12. They have a sponsor, because everybody has to have a sponsor now.
It's like NASCAR.
Monster Energy Big 12.
Is that what they're
So
officially
gross.
called now?
So gross. I don't know if they're the Monster Energy Big 12 or if anyone's going to refer to them as the Monster Energy Big 12. I know that they were the big sponsor for Big 12 Media Days. Interestingly enough, you brought up Texas Tech and you brought up Colorado, and you brought them up because you know who at Central Florida didn't make a lot of headlines in year one at Central Florida. And from what I understand, I didn't read too much into it, and it wasn't a whole lot that was shared on social media. It wasn't like last year. And Scott Frost took the mic last year, and everybody had, we got to listen to what he's going to say. What's he going to say about Nebraska? What's he going to say about this? What's he going to say about that? And it got all the circus. This year it was pretty quiet because Central Florida struggled. And to my knowledge, not a whole lot in terms of, hot button issues. He said that Central Florida has obviously a lot to prove. He likes his quarterback Alonzo Barnett, but didn't have a whole lot else to say. So
not a lot of digs coming from Scotty Boy.
No, and I would love to read all of his comments in the World Herald, but it's blocked by a paywall, so I can't read the newspaper.
You can pay a couple of bucks and get the wall.
It's not going to happen.
I'll try to dive into that today if I get some time.
See if you can find some Scotty.
Yeah, I'll see if I can find some Scott Frost. Since you brought it up.
Yeah.
Since you brought it up, I'll try to get that maybe for tomorrow's show and see what he had to say.
Kind of want to know what he's got to say.
Even though, like you said, Central Florida was not great last year. Mm-hmm. Actually won more games in Central Florida last year than he did during a season at Nebraska. So I wouldn't call it a complete disaster.
Well, we were a complete disaster, so, what is one step up from hell? Pretty hot still.
All right, so that's what's going on at Big 12 Media Days. A couple of interesting notes. A group of 11 Republican lawmakers has sent a letter to the WNBA commissioner, Kathy Engelbert, demanding that the league take accountability for multiple attacks against Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. So now Republican lawmakers are getting involved. In the letter, Clark is described as the face of your league and someone who has generated fan interest, increased television ratings, and new corporate sponsors. It suggests that the third-year guard is on the receiving end of unnecessary physical hostility and violence, such as hip-checking, eye-poking, and recently being struck in the throat.
Yeah.
The lawmakers said they're concerned by reports that the attacks against Clark may be racially motivated.
I don't see that, but...
Well, it could be.
I don't...
It could be.
I mean, let's sweep that baby and move on. But I'm concerned just for the lack of concern for player safety and player health. What was it, a one-game suspension that they ended up reviewing and then handing out a suspension after the fact? But if you reviewed that footage, that wasn't a suspension worthy. That was jail time worthy. That was assault. and we witnessed it on national television. That was like a physical assault. I would have got the authorities involved. Seriously. It was ugly, and it was an ugly scene. And if they're not going to hand out stricter penalties or have repercussions for the officials, then, again, like I mentioned a couple weeks ago, I suggest you take a long, good look at yourself in the mirror and resign from your position if that's all the penalties you're going to hand out for what was a physical assault that took place a few weeks ago. Do I like the suits in Washington, D.C. getting involved in sports? Hell no. You stay in your lane. We fix our country first, and then you can come and fix sports if you're so damn good at it. But yeah, it's something that WNBA needs to take a good hard look at. And they said that they're making strides. They're making steps. That was not a stride forward, what took place a few weeks ago. So they need to clean up their act.
All right, so we'll see what happens there. A couple of notes from Major League Baseball from last night.
Cease.
Toronto Blue Jays pitcher Dylan Cease. You're reading my mind here, and that's scary. You're reading my mind.
Well, there
here.
was only one news note yesterday, and that was Dylan Cease.
Yeah, he carried a bid for his second career no-hitter in the ninth inning last night. Gave up a line drive single in the ninth inning. Then was lifted from the game. Got a standing ovation from the San Francisco crowd. Tyler Rogers came on and got the last 3 outs on 4 pitches as the Blue Jays won the game 10-0. But the 30-year-old Cease threw a career-high 118 pitches last night, 81 for strikes, as he sought the first solo no-hitter in the majors since 2024. The All-Star right-hander struck out 11 to increase his American League leading total to 148. Cease threw a no-hitter for the San Diego Padres at Washington back on July 25th of 2024. But he takes a no-hit bid into the ninth inning, gives up a line drive single to center field, and that was the end of his time on the hill last night.
Yeah, he is no-hitter in 2024. Was that the last no-hitter that was thrown?
What do we say here?
Because you said 2024.
It might have been.
That might have been the last no-hitter that was thrown was Dylan Cease. That boggles my mind. We went all last season without a no-hit performance. Normally, you're good for at least 1 or 2 in the course of a baseball season. We didn't have one last year. At least on the solo end. There was a couple of combined no-hitters, but that's boring.
So that was Thompson Major League Baseball from last night. One other baseball note.
Mm-hmm.
Don Mattingly said he would be interested in leading the Philadelphia Phillies on a full-time basis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Rob Thompson was fired as the head coach of the Phillies back in April.
Justified.
The Phillies were 9-19 at that time and tied with the New York Mets for Major League Baseball's worst record.
Mm-hmm.
But since Mattingly has been the interim manager on April the 18th, the Phillies all of a sudden are 43-22, the second best record in Major League Baseball behind Milwaukee, who is 44-21.
Nice.
What's the Phillies waiting for? Just
Right.
name this guy the damn manager. What more does he have to prove? He wants the job. Give it to him. He's turned things around at Philadelphia. He's got the second best record in Major League Baseball since taking over behind the Milwaukee. What's the Philadelphia front office waiting for?
I mean, it's kind of. I scratched my head at their 9-19 start because this roster is loaded. Arguably the best roster head to toe in baseball. Okay, LA has an argument with that, and I understand probably the Dodgers, but the Phillies are right behind him, right? So yeah, Thomas getting it done. To me, it's one of those things where this is a hard thing to screw up. This is one of those jobs that I would go into saying, all I've got to do is just keep it in between the lines, and we should be okay. Like, you don't have to tinker too much. You don't have to make a lot of adjustments. This is a lineup that's going to go and get the job done. So just don't screw it up. I don't know. He wasn't great in Miami, but also he didn't have anything to work with in Miami. So I'd give him the job. I think Mattingly's a great skipper. I've always considered him one of the just baseball guys that's going to be around, and yeah, I think he's a worthy candidate. But I don't know if that at the moment he's even interested in the contract talks. Obviously you can get to that at the end of the season, and I think he, by saying would entertain the idea of being the Phillies' full-time manager and certainly want to be, is expressing his interest. But you're worried about baseball, and you're in the dog days of summer right now. Maybe talk to it. Get him in the All-Star break when you got some days where you're not putting a lineup together and you're not going to be in the dugout. I don't like having contract and all that stuff going on when I'm trying to focus on a baseball game. So I understand. I would say that you'll probably see some discussions and an announcement maybe during the All-Star break when they've got a few days to hammer out contract negotiations. But, just like us in our contract negotiations that get signed on the back of a Busch Light box, we have to both have time to be able to meet to have those contract negotiations. So likely All-Star break for him, Mattingly.
Spending his 23rd season in Major League Baseball as a manager or a coach. Mm-hmm. He was going to retire after he left his role as the bench coach for the Toronto Blue Jays under manager John Schneider following last year's World Series. He reversed his course after a talk with his family and latched on with the Phillies, who evidently his son is a part of the upper-level management there at Philadelphia. So
nice.
Don Mattingly turning things around at Philadelphia. All right, those are some news and notes from the sports world from the past 24 hours or so. 7:52, waking up with Mike and Tyson here this morning. This is Huddle Up on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning news update on Extreme Sports.
2 23-year-old Grand Island men have been arrested in connection with the brutal assault of 41-year-old Matthew Bishop in downtown Grand Island. According to Grand Island Police, 23-year-old Jesus Reyes and 23-year-old Angel Vega were arrested Tuesday and each charged with first-degree assault and a Class 2 felony. Police say surveillance video led to the arrests. Governor Jim Pillen is ordering a 5% budget cut for most state agencies and freezing nearly all new hiring as Nebraska faces a projected $172 million budget shortfall. The move following lower than expected tax revenues and higher than anticipated state tax refunds. However, the governor painted a slightly different picture on Facebook, saying, quote, "Historic tax cuts have put money back where it belongs, in the pockets of hardworking families across Nebraska. Those record refunds mean less money for government bureaucracy, and I intend to use that opportunity to shrink government even more," end quote. It is now 7:53. We'll swing things back over to the East Side Studios. Mike, what's going on in sports?
Well, sports today is brought to you by Bamboo Mind and Body Spa in Hastings and Blue Hill. Feel better, live better. Nebraska head softball coach Rhonda Ravel has signed a contract extension that runs through the 2031 season. Ravel is the winningest coach in Nebraska athletics history. She earned the contract extension after leading the Huskers to a 52-8 record this year and a spot in the Women's College World Series for the first time since 2013 in her 34th season as head coach. She's also retooled the coaching staff following the retirement of longtime assistant coach Lori Sipple back in June. Diane Miller has been elevated to associate head coach. Maddie Nocita was promoted to assistant coach. Olivia Farrell and Jordy Fromm will serve as assistant coaches, while Hannah Kaur and Hannah Kamazin have been added as graduate assistants. Lauren Kamazin will be a graduate manager for the Huskers beginning next season. Former Nebraska All-American Max Anderson has been added by Major League Baseball to the 2026 All-Star Futures Game. Anderson joins a group of 25 prospects on the American League roster that will go up against the 25 prospects in the National League roster on July 12th at Philadelphia's Citizens Bank Park. Anderson was a second-round pick in 2023. He's currently hitting .303 with 13 doubles, a triple, 9 home runs, and 32 RBIs for AAA Toledo in the Detroit Tigers organization. He'll become the 6th former Husker to play in the Futures Game, joining Bryce Matthews, Spencer Schwellenbaugh, Jabba Chamberlain, Alex Gordon, and Jamal Strong. Hastings Sodbusters will host the Grand Island Fightin' Cranes tonight out at Duncan Field. Sodbusters are 11-17 in the season. Fightin' Cranes are 17-11. Sodbusters are 3-9 against the Fightin' Cranes so far this season. First pitch will be at 7. American Legion baseball action tonight. Hastings Johnson Imperial Homes will play in the Capital City Clash against Gretna, and the Epp Foundation Repair Juniors. Hastings 5 Points Bank will play in the Hastings Kearney tournament this weekend. Hastings Runza will play in the Bellevue East tournament. And the quarterfinals of the World Cup gets underway today as France will play Morocco at 3 o'clock this afternoon. Tomorrow it's Spain against Belgium. And then on Saturday, Norway will play England, and Argentina will take on Switzerland. That's a check in your sports headline, 7:57 on Extreme Sports.
It's time for a morning weather update on Extreme Sports with Chief Meteorologist Tim Jones.
We have a few showers and thunderstorms lingering in south central Nebraska, but no severe weather expected this morning. Other than that, plenty of sunshine throughout the area. A little cooler the next few days. We'll have highs in the mid-80s today and as well as Friday and into the weekend, and winds out of the northeast 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tonight, another chance of a few showers and storms. We'll have an overnight low of 65, 83 Friday, 88 Saturday, 89 Sunday, and 92 on Monday.
We have north winds this morning at 5 miles per hour. It's cloudy and it's 68 in Hastings and Extreme.
Accessible and affordable holistic care is just around the corner at Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center. Located at 208 South Burlington Avenue, Suite 101 in Hastings. At Bamboo Spa, we offer a range of therapies to help you unwind and recharge. Experience soothing massages, rejuvenating head spa scalp treatments, and our Advanced Glow 2 facials. Discover the healing power of ozone therapy and frequency healing. Become a member for exclusive 24-hour access to our therapeutic amenities, including the infrared sauna, hydro massage, and cryo lounge. Members enjoy 20% off all services and 10% off products in our non-toxic retail shop. Visit our Facebook page to learn more and book your appointment today. Bamboo Spa and Wellness Center, truly holistic care, designed for you.
Connet Auto Care is the trusted name in automotive repair and maintenance services in Hastings. We're a gold-certified Napa Auto Care Center. Our ASE-certified technicians have the Blue Seal of Excellence, receive continuous training, and are committed to providing the best service your vehicle can get. Whether it's preventative maintenance, major repairs, or just an oil change, Connet Auto Care is here for you.
Get ready, race fans. Cam Raceway is teaming up with Extreme Sports for an electrifying season of high-speed, dirt-slinging, adrenaline-pumping action. Every race night, we're bringing you live video coverage straight from the track, so you won't miss a single lap, pass, or photo finish. From non-wing warriors to cage karts, flat karts, and the A-class wing beasts, we've got it all. There's nothing like the roar of the engines, the smell of burning rubber, and the rush of dirt flying action right in front of you. So get to the track and experience it live. But if you can't make it, don't sweat. Extreme Sports has you covered. Buckle up, because this season is going to be fast, fierce, and unforgettable. Make sure you like and follow Extreme Sports on Facebook to get all the latest updates, and we will see you at the track. See you at the track.
All right, Mike Will and Tyson are brought with you. Huddle up on Extreme Sports for this Thursday. A lot of things happened in the past 24 hours, and we talked about them all this morning here in the past hour or so as we got you up and get you going out your door here today. Tomorrow, Jim Slacker from the Nebraska Thoroughbred Racing Network is going to join us, talk about the ponies this weekend in Omaha. Didn't we miss him last week? Yeah, we missed him last week because we weren't here. We're getting ready for the long 4th of July holiday weekend, so he just gave us his picks. And then they didn't race one day last week.
They did not.
I think that was
Saturday. They had some storms.
Yeah, they had some storms, and I don't think they raced on Saturday in Omaha. So anyway, we'll get the latest from Jimmy Boy coming up tomorrow. You've got Sodbusters tonight.
Mm-hmm.
An old familiar foe.
Say it ain't so.
God, say it ain't so that we're going to see the fighting cranes again.
You ever watch the movie Groundhog's Day?
Yeah.
It's Groundhog's Day again. It's Grand Island again.
Let's see, we're playing for the 13th time.
Jesus. So many games against Grand Island.
Sodbusters are 3-9 against the fighting cranes this season.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll play tonight at 7.
It's when half your season's against one team and you have that record, and you look at the standings, it's put 2 and 2 together. Anyways, yeah, tomorrow we get the Who Doctor Who Stakes to talk about. That is in the 7th for Saturday at Horseman's Park. It is I have no idea how Jim handicapped it because the field is loaded. I mean, it's literally going to be one of the best races of Nebraska this year.
Wow.
In my personal opinion.
Which really doesn't matter much.
But no, not in the grand scheme of horse racing, no.
No, but the way you predict horse racing, it really doesn't make a whole hell lot of difference what you think.
Just saying, there's a lot of good ponies in that race.
A lot of ponies that you've probably lost money on.
Yep.
So that's why you're saying it's a loaded field.
Yep.
So we'll see what Jimmy has to say tomorrow. Anyway, if you'd like to listen to the show again, you can. Just go to our social media sites, download the podcast, listen to the show at your convenience throughout the day. Today, maybe you missed a portion of the show and wanted to know what the hell we talked about in the first half hour of the show or something like that. Are you listening to the show again at your convenience today? Appreciate that. Better yet, make plans to be here tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock, for Huddle Up on Extreme Sports. Have yourself a great day.
You've been listening